Why do you think that there's not as many strategies and initiatives that are being, that they're there, but not being followed through with, for example, in my space, the early childhood nutrition space, the breastfeeding and complementary feeding space? What do you think is the obstacle there?
I think that, governments always have competing priorities.
Of course.
And in our instance, in the Caribbean, limited resources.
Mm-hmm.
And, sometimes political choices are made.
Mm.
I think as well, and there's something we were discussing earlier, it also speaks to the importance of civil society engagement and work at the grassroots level. So we know every 5 years they come in for that vote, right? Mm-hmm. and now they're trying, the government is trying to engage people a little bit more with the parish speaks, etc. So it's really important for you and I and other people, whether you have kids or don't have kids. I mean, all of us, pretty much everybody in Barbados knows somebody or is related to somebody who has an NCD. Pretty much. Absolutely, yeah. Right? Mm-hmm. And so this is a national issue without a doubt. And so it's something that we need to be speaking to forcefully, letting our politicians know this is important to us. Yeah. I mean, this is important. We want to have more emphasis placed on providing support to breastfeeding mothers, to creating enabling environments with them, and not necessarily where they have to build a whole new facility, because we know competing priorities, limited resources. But if at least we can get messaging going out where people begin to understand better about this issue, understand why it's important to provide support, we can maybe partner with our private sector to help them introduce within their workplace, etc., then we can still be moving forward, right? So I think that is really down to political will and how sexy the topic is at the time, that's the word, politically. Yeah. And to make it sexier really requires that people on the ground say to politicians, this is important to us. This makes a difference in our lives and in our children's lives, and we really want you to action it.
And I think that's part of the reason why we have not, I think it is part of the reason why we have started this podcast, because we wanted to be able to give mothers and families a voice to be able to say in a forum where people are going to listen, yeah, what we have here is not enough. It's not adequate. We want more. And then giving them empowering them then to go out from the podcast or from wherever they meet us and say, you know what, I am done with this. I'm going to go to my constituency office tomorrow, and I'm going to say, and
also to sharing the experiences, right, of others globally, etc. In terms of, everything doesn't require, hundreds of millions of dollars.
Yeah.
We just need, thoughtful, intentional, targeted steps being taken to begin, and it's not necessarily something that will happen overnight, but we want to see continuous and consistent progress towards this goal of normalizing this space in terms of breastfeeding, because even, as I was thinking just now, even as we say breast is best and everybody says that, I can recall so many conversations on social media, etc., within the region, to do with mothers breastfeeding in public, for example, the stigma that is associated with that.
Yeah.
And so even as we as Caribbean people understand that breast is best, we somehow feel that breast is best means that I must
behind
go
a closed door.
hide up in some place.
No,
I'm not saying, let it all hang out. No, but you're able to discreetly, there should be no, I can breastfeed in a restaurant, I can
Nicole,
do it in a way that's respectful, and because I'm not interested in exposing myself to the world either. I remember I used to walk with my little blanket. You just throw your little, you have to
over you.
The baby is here on your breast, and so they can clearly see.
But it wasn't always this way. I remember before I left to go overseas to study that I remember seeing boobs everywhere. I remember seeing this, either it was in the last podcast, I'm sure I've said it a million times. I remember seeing boobs all over the place. This is about 20 years ago. I'm kind of dating myself. But,
Don't worry, we both dated.